Hey, what's up? This is Mikey for Blue Monkey Bicycles, and I was forced to change my mind, at least a little bit. Now, for a long time, I've been extolling the virtues of putting proper air pressure inside of tires for electric bikes to get the best range possible. Now, surely the most important thing that you can do to get that range is to put more pressure in for more results or less pressure for less results, right? Isn't that right? Well, at least now I can see why so many people forget or simply don't care about putting pressure into their bike tires because, well, let me explain. For a long time, we've been putting proper air into pneumatic tires for all of our rolling equipment. I mean, for most of us, we think about this in terms of a car tire. Cars run at an incredibly high RPM and also high heat, but most importantly, they run for a very long length of time. As a matter of fact, I actually did about 14-hour drive just yesterday. And that efficiency and safety was very much appreciated along with the better handling. I mean, it was really paramount for the entire trip. I check the pressure on my cars quite often because I genuinely care about getting the equipment exactly right. But take a look at my wheelbarrow. She's the only one that I've got. It's not much of a wheelbarrow. I never really seem to get a whole lot, but the air pressure in this thing only crosses my mind once in a blue moon, usually when I load it up. And even then, I have to decide if the burden of a mildly flat tire is worth all of the effort of just pushing it up the hill or getting out the air pump. I genuinely really don't care about getting this piece of equipment exactly right. Now, after doing some tests, I can affirm that when it comes to efficiency, bicycle tires are indeed somewhere in between those two extremes, but there is a critical factor that pretty much changes all of this. Okay, so let's get into the test. I didn't use that one. I used a different bike right here. It is the CGOPRO from Tenways. More on that in a little bit. To begin, I charged up the bike fully and set the air pressure to the maximum 75 psi. That's printed on the sidewall of the tire. I ran it for 2.5 miles and then cataloged the voltage, turned around and did the same thing all over again. Now this comprised just one test and I started over all the way from there. With a freshly charged battery, the next test, I lowered the pressure down by 15, so then went down to 60 psi and then did the exact same pathway all over again. I did this at full pedal assist for the bike and repeated it as exact as I could for 75 psi, 60 psi, 45 psi, 30 psi, and then finally down to 15. Now each of these 5-mile stretches ran there and back, which accounted for elevation changes, and the temperature and weather were quite constant when I was doing these tests. So what exactly happened and why did I change my mind? Well, the first test was actually really easy. The first 2.5 miles ate up actually 0.2 of the battery voltage and the return trip ate up 0.6 volts. By the way, reading the battery voltage is much more precise than reading the percentage on the display for the bicycle itself. So I'm going to be cataloging that on screen. But yeah, the first test was really easy, only consuming about 7% of the battery. So far, things are looking really good. I mean, if those conditions kept constant, then I'd be looking at about 51 miles of range at full blast. So now is actually a really good time to talk about the bike that I used on the pressure tests. What's the best way to get around a city? It's an electric bike, of course, one with efficiency and elegance, and the Tenways CGOPRO is all of that and more. You'll feel great on this amazing bike and other people will know that you have good taste. Available in green, blue, black, and gray, this is a smooth and comfortable city bike that shows that you have function and style down pat. The CGOPRO will go up to 53 miles, recharges within a few hours, and is ready to go anytime. This bike is going to get you anywhere your regular commute or your curiosity will take you. Lightweight, easy to maintain, this bike is the most beautiful parking pass that you'll ever see. Equipped with a Gates carbon belt drive, the Tenways CGOPRO rides clean and easy without the clanking of grease and a regular chain. The flush-fit 36-volt 10-amp-hour battery features water-resistant building, color-matched design, and powers with integrated headlights. This is an easy-to-use display with a 37-pound total weight, making the CGOPRO easy to live with and easy to lift. Go to www.tenways.com right now to see available offers on the Tenway CGOPRO and other great bikes from Tenways. Voltage is 41.6. All right, so let's go ahead and run it down for the rest. The short version is that the subsequent testing didn't really display the obvious benefits that I was hoping for. The next test that I did at 60 psi showed a consumption of 0.9 volts, which is kind of expected since it is within the recommended pressure that's on the side of the tire and still eating up a little bit more. So I was kind of emboldened by that one. But the next one at 45 psi, this test showed a consumption of 1.3 volts, which is a significant increase in draw. You're probably wondering why I have such trepidation over that, because strangely enough, the 30 psi test also showed the same thing, 1.3 volts again. And even finally, the 15 psi test, that gave a consumption of 1.3 volts yet again. So this was kind of strange because I had assumed that the test would show a linear relationship. The more pressure, the better, and the lower the pressure, the lower the efficiency, right? I mean, that's what I've been assuming my whole entire life. I'm tempted to wonder if the recommended pressure printed on the side of the tire is more important than I realized. It seems that running inside of that range will allow the tire to perform as designed, and then running lower than that, seemingly by any number, will totally throw all of that out the window. Immediately, seemingly. Now, there are two subjects that I left out until now, the second one being the real kicker. Now, the first subject is quite obvious that this is a set of tests that was performed in the real world, which invites a wild amount of variables into the mix. So understand it for what this is. This is an interesting YouTube video that might spark a new idea and perhaps a new test for someone else to do more thoroughly. And this is the real reason why I never ride a bicycle at low pressure if I can help it, and that is control. It's the same reason why comparing a bicycle to a wheelbarrow is totally inapplicable, because people don't ride on top of a wheelbarrow, much less through city traffic. Think about it. After mounting a bicycle, the rider gets on top of it, and then the contact point between them and the world is the tire. Everything that happens on the bike is funneled down into those tires and how they interface with the terrain. With low pressure, when I'm riding, I can't turn as tight as I want to. Small bumps in the road suddenly become a major risk, and acceleration totally takes a nosedive. With this kind of unpredictability, it makes riding a bike, especially in a somewhat risky environment, very much of a problem. For a lot of people, myself included, electric bikes are an escape from the modern connected world, not just recreation, but almost a form of like meditation or a tool to decompress. Running at the right tire pressure will ensure that the bicycle rides swift and relieve the mounting pressure in your own daily life. See what I did there? There is a link in the description below to check out Tenways and their incredibly sleek bike that I enjoyed through all of these pressure tests. You can also check out this video on a 6,000 watt conversion motor that I hope stays legal as long as possible. Big thanks to Tenways from Blue Monkey Bicycles. I am Mikey, and I will see you on the later.